How we live our lives is in our hands, yet so many live in this defined box, what is normal. And I don't think we have to live inside these boxes. I think we should work to live and not just survive. My name is Damon Long, and I'm here to explore the lives of people who just live differently. This is my friend Alden. He's been living in a van since May 2016. Him and his girlfriend Hannah bought a bus together, planned to renovate it, and live in the bus full time. This is the story of their alternative life. I caught up with Alden at Ascend Pittsburgh, an indoor rock climbing gym where Alden works out and takes all his showers. So seamless.
You're facing this way. You got it, come on.
That was the worst way I've ever fallen. So how did you first get involved with van life?
The lease on my house was running up, and my parents were like, so where are you gonna move? And I was like, I don't know, I haven't really found anything that's like in my price range that I'm really interested in. I hadn't looked. And then I was like, so I'm just gonna live in the van for a little while until I find something. And then I was in the van for like a couple weeks, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, it's working out. I think I'm gonna stay in it. And like my parents probably knew what was up the whole time.
You know, he didn't really ask us, you know, if it was okay or anything. So he just did it. But that was not unusual for him. And, you know, people at work are always saying to me, like, are you okay with your son living in a van?
People that have never cared about my living situation are suddenly really concerned.
Really?
Yeah, like my friend's parents, they're like, is Alden okay? Like, do we need to give him some money so he can get an apartment and stuff? It's interesting because they're very concerned about me being out in the cold. But like we've gone camping in the winter so many times and they've never once batted an eye. It's a weird stigma that it's like doing something for fun is okay, but when it's like how you're living, it's totally different. It's once I stepped out of that normal, what is considered normal as housing, everybody was concerned with what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Why do you think people like act like that or think like that? Like they have this thought and judgment about these norms?
Society has created something that we all accept as normal. It's like considered okay to spend $600, $800, $1,000 a month on a little box that you're living in, and like that's normal. Whereas me putting constraints on my living situation that I don't mind, that's like, oh, you're crazy, you renegade, like, like what? And it's just like, well, I think you're the crazy one because you're spending X amount of dollars that you could be spending in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's like, granted, like living in a vehicle isn't for everyone.
All right, so climbing was harder than what I thought it was. Alden and I hit the showers and then skated over to the office chair where he edits videos.
Come on in.
What are your monthly expenses really look like?
Being a co-op member here and having a desk totals $90 a month. Ascend is $60 a month. The van and the bus are $75 each a month. HPR now, Hannah and I split, so it's like $8 a month. What else? Oh, Frameway is $25 a month. Google Drive is $10 a month. And then I probably spend less than $200 on food.
Yeah.
I try to, at least that's my budget, is $200.
Yeah, I just think based upon those numbers you said, I pay more in rent than you pay in like everything. Whose idea was it first to decide to do this lifestyle?
While I had the van, Hannah and I started dating in March of 2016, and then she moved to New York for grad school. And all the while we're talking about like where do we want to live when she graduates. One of my friends from home, Will Sutherland, he renovates buses as a hobby.
I found the bus that Alden now owns locally. So I bought the bus, drove it home, and then I found another bus that I liked a lot more.
And so he posted on Instagram, hey, I got this new bus, so I'm selling this one that I haven't done anything to yet. And Hannah saw it and sent it to me and was like, let's get it.
So like pretty much the entire time I've known him, he's been like a van life guy. I thought bus life was a little bit a nice middle ground, more of an apartment on wheels than like living in a van. Like gives us the space to create something together, and like it looked like a fun project and it needed some love.
Will, up until that point, had like been trying to turn it on, and he was like, it's not turning on, but I think I know the problem, so you can still buy it and then tow it to my mechanic and have them fix it. Got there and he's like, all right, well, let's give it a shot. And he goes to turn it on and it works.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. And he was like, I haven't turned it on in 3 months. He's like, I guess the bus knew that it was getting a new owner and it's ready.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Hannah came in from New York City to work on the bus. Their plan came to a screeching halt when the bus had to go to the shop.
One of the bummers about having it in the shop is Hannah was like planning to come back all these weekends in October, and we were like, yay, time to work on the bus. And we can't now. To get it running again, it needs a brand new engine.
It's cheaper to buy a new engine.
And we were like, the peace of mind of a brand new engine versus just replacing a part.
Camera.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Come on in. What do you think?
Here's our bus. Welcome to our bus. Are you super duper excited? What just happened?
I just broke the screw.
He's got the bug. It's hard once you see that light at the end of the tunnel of not having to pay rent and to be in something that's self-made and cool at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, years ago in my younger generation, to say I live in a van down by the river was embarrassing and it was laughed at. But nowadays, oh cool, you live in a van down by the river? That's awesome. So it's a great time period to be in for van life, bus life, tiny house life, living minimally, walking away from the responsibilities that all of our parents and grandparents have had of getting a job, owning a house, and basing your whole life around your career. I think we're kind of burned out on that.
So once you guys make it on the road, how do you plan to make your separate livings to make it?
In short, wedding photography. In long, pretty much any side job that I can get. So, and I can also do like remote photo editing for wedding photographers or commercial editors.
Sometimes I will assist Hannah in the wedding venture and do
He'll be my
second
second
shooting,
shooter,
second shooting or videography. And then I'll also do remote editing and video filming, whatever comes my way. One of the things that I do look forward to is once the build is done, we have solar and all that, like we wouldn't be so locked into this location. Even if we have a wedding in Pittsburgh 2 weeks back to back, we could go to like Forest upstate and camp there and just be remote for the week. We're both pretty resourceful and can make the best of any situation.
Yeah, and there's also adjustment then for bus life for me, because there's going to be like a shower that you like run for 30 seconds and you turn off, and then you scrub, and then you turn it back on, and then and there's going to be all sorts of challenges with it.
Nuances that I'll probably have figured out already.
Yeah.
That will lead.
Oh sure,
Well,
sure. I was going to say something mean, but I
What?
When was the last time you showered?
Thursday night.
Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a
So,
nuance I've adjusted to.
Nuance you've adjusted to. Oh my God.
Like being separated by this great distance, because you're still at school, how does that make it more complicated going through all of this? Or does it make it more complicated?
In August, when I had a lot of time off, he was working a lot, so we didn't get to spend as much time working on it together. That sometimes means that like I'll do more work on it alone, and like you're finding out things that I'm not here for. But it's more finding the same times because we're both really busy with other things. I know there's a lot of things that we also want to do as individual people too before we like make huge commitments that require like rings and dresses and shit.
Yeah.
So we definitely have a lot of like, there's a lot of life that still needs to happen before we settle down, whatever that looks like for the two of
We're not
us, because
settling down.
we'll never do that.
It's a constant battle of like we want to be together at all times, but like that's not necessarily conducive to reaching our other goals. So it's a balance that we have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we'll be doing for a long time.
Right. But
Makes sense.
we're in it to win it. Okay.
Oh, and no fist
Sorry,
bump. And no fist bump.
In it to win it. No. I don't want to fist bump after that. Get a better tagline.
Okay.
Thanks. Next time.
Okay.
It's sort of gratifying as a parent, really, to watch your child become so self-sufficient.
The relationship that they have together will only get stronger as they work on the bus and complete it. But then once it is done, I think that that's going to open up a whole nother chapter of their lives.
Do you think we'll ever be able to get rid of the bus?
No, that's what I mean. Like I think the bus will always live on a plot of land somewhere. I definitely think we'll move into a house at some point. It's not like we're like, well, houses are for squares. Like, that's definitely not our mindset.
How I am rude.
Like, that's still something that we've talked about, is having that somewhere, wherever that may be, whether we're living in it constantly or if it's just like a cabin in the woods kind of thing.
We're both very nostalgic people that like love to think about all of those feelings attached with like making our first home together and all of this stuff. And yeah, I don't think we'll actually be able to get rid of it.
When we come back to the bus together, we'll be like, home sweet home.
Yeah,
Stuff
you
like
do that a lot more because you're adorable like that, but and I appreciate it. Yeah.
This life we live does not need to look like the typical American dream, but rather our life can look however we want it when we're willing to work for it.
You were talking about living off the land in the wilderness, which I thought was a little more crazy.
I don't think you can live off the land if you only eat hot fries.
Hey man,
Hot fries grow wild in Montana, so
Hey.
he'll be good.
Look, if I'm sponsored by Hot Fries and they airdrop a pack of Hot Fries, I think I'll be okay. There's a gate that you need a code and everything to get into, so I've been telling my friends that I live in a gated community.
I tell my friends that too.
So bougie.
Yeah.
So bougie.
Everyone thought I was crazy when I bought this bus.
Yeah.
There were people walking up to me at work like, "What are you doing? A school bus? Seriously?"